How's it going, everybody? It's Dr. Beardenstein here. I'm going to be going over thoughts on Last of Us. So, kind of be sort of a review, but for the most part, it's just going to be kind of my views on the whole game. So, this gameplay that's going to be running is going to be just from the beginning of the game. So, spoilers for those of you who have not played the original Last of Us. So, for anybody that kind of just wants, I guess, my straightforward opinion of the second game without any spoilers, I will say it's a good, solid game. Great at times, even. It's very heavy, if that makes any sense. It's just got a lot of, oh man, I don't want to say like gravitas or anything like that, but it's just, it weighs very heavily on you. And especially if you get like attached to games and emotional in certain games, but it's just like it's a very heavy game. So would I recommend it to people? I would say yes. It's got great mechanics. The shooting's way better than it was in the first game. Graphics are outstanding. Sound design impeccable. Level design, I want to say, is better, but at the same time, like sometimes you feel like you can see a lot, but you can't get to everything. So sometimes it feels a little linear that way, but then there's a lot of times where you have access more like vertically and stuff like that to certain levels. So I would definitely recommend it for those of you who did play the first one, and maybe even for those who didn't. I won't say it's my favorite PlayStation 4 game of the year. I would still say that Final Fantasy VII Remake edges that out a little bit. That game was amazing. But yeah, so for those who did not want a spoilery version of this, I guess, review impressions, it's a solid game, worth a play, even if it's just one playthrough. I would say if you know somebody who's got it, borrow it from them, give it a shot, get your 20 something to 30 hours in, and just enjoy it for what it is. So going forward, I will be talking about spoilers. So for those of you who have not played the game, just giving you a fair warning that I will be talking about spoilers in the game. It's been out for about a week and a half. Just giving you a heads up. So overall, I did really love the game. And for those of you who've played it, the section... Okay, what you know what? Let me just get the big stuff out of the way. Joel dies, like, right at the beginning of the game. So those of you who've played it, you know what's going on. And it's just... Man, it's just like I was not prepared for that at all. I had avoided spoilers. I mean, pretty much. I mean, I figured something was going to happen to Joel, but man, was I not prepared for that. I downright hated Abby with a passion after that happened. And so, a lot of people that like the game, I've noticed the majority of people that don't like the game were big fans of the first one and got very attached to Joel. And so seeing something like that happen to him took them out of the game and made them play as Ellie, who was very angsty and angry, and that turned a lot of people off. And I get that. For me, I still love the game. I was very much attached to Joel from the first game as a dad, having, like, I almost had an instant connection with him from the get-go of the beginning of when he lost Sarah, and then just his disdain for people. Just, he did not want to be friends with people. He did not like people. And then just to him becoming almost a normal person, being around Ellie, and then at the end his decision to basically slaughter all these people to save her, because he saw her, I don't want to say as a surrogate daughter, but as he definitely had a emotional attachment to her, and he didn't want to let it go. He was a little selfish, or a lot selfish, I guess, if you put it in the grand scheme of things, of him, choosing to let her live over the rest of the world. Basically, he cursed. I mean, I don't want to say he knew he cursed everybody, But in this game, you definitely find out that the doctors that were there was no other doctors like them surviving. So once they died, there was no way to make a cure. So yeah, I mean, a lot of people thought the first one ended on like a somber note. To me, it didn't. Just because, I mean, it did, but at the same time, it was like Joel did what he thought in his head was the right choice. Whether it was or not, that's kind of for the player to decide. So coming into this game, there's a lot of fans of Joel and fans of the first one, and Ellie even, that just did not like this game from the get-go because of the leaks that came out, finding out that Joel dies, finding out that I'm actually not completely sure on all the leaks that came out, but I guess seeing Ellie and her relationships and stuff like that. So immediately people were like, SJWs, they're shoving stuff down our throats in the games. Me personally, I didn't see that at all. The main issues I had with the game was at the beginning, just when Joel meets these people, the Joel that I got to know in the first game would not have told these people his name. He did not know them from Adam. He definitely would not have invited them to the town. They didn't seem like they were struggling. They Joel's brother brings up the fact that there was a couple that they saved that went into the town at one point, and that they got their supplies and stuff like that, and got taken care of. But to me, that's when he says that, I pictured a husband and wife and a child. But these were all younger kids, I mean, kids to Joel, because they were late teens, early 20s. And I would definitely not have said that, and I don't think Joel would have either. But then again, I don't know if Naughty Dog was trying to say, Joel became complacent by living in this town. But the fact that he did patrols kind of makes me think that he didn't. I don't know. I just, that part bugged me a little bit. And then just the whole Abby section. I know some people were very open to Abby just from the get-go. I know you play as her, and then you run into Joel, and then he saves you, and then she basically murders him in cold blood for the death of her father and all the doctors that she knew, but mainly for her father. And so to do that, especially in front of Ellie, and then Ellie just goes on the same revenge thing that Abby does. And like, as soon as I played as Abby, I was like, I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to get me to have some sort of sympathy or empathy for Abby, and realize that there's a correlation between Abby and Ellie, and that they're basically on the same path, and that even though Abby got her revenge, she wasn't a happier person. She didn't magically have this weight lifted off of her, and I get that. I totally get that. But man, did I hate and despise every moment I played as Abby. Every time I died, I was like, eh. Every time I died as Ellie, I was like, God dang it, what did I do wrong? What can I do to, avoid this again? And Abby, I was like, I really don't care. And I tried to care. I tried to care about Abby. I after realizing what Naughty Dog and Neil Druckmann and everybody wanted from me in this game, I tried to give them the benefit of the doubt and tried. But man, Abby was not likable. I'm sorry. She was not Ellie. She was not Joel. She wasn't even half the characters in the first game. She was just a very bitter, angry person. And I think they try to show some light on her by having her save the sisters that were originally in the from that cult, I forget what they're called, I think they kept calling them scars, but they had another name. But even that, her friend, the pregnant one that I cared less about than Abby, brings it up in the game. She says, "You're not even doing this for them. You're doing it for you. You're being selfish. You're using this to win favor with your old man. Your old the dude that's got me pregnant. Your old boyfriend. It's not gonna work. Don't come with us. You know." And so that threw me off. And so I'm like, well, obviously she's not a redeemable character to me. At least to me, she wasn't a redeemable character. One, she killed Joel, a guy that I spent so many hours with in the first game, and she did it like right off the bat. Had it been maybe hours into the game and I had seen her side of the story prior to, and seen what she went through and how it unfolded, maybe I would have had some sort of feeling for her. But she just did not redeem herself at all, and just, I don't know, man. It was just something about her just didn't. She had no. There was no likable qualities there to me at least, you know. And then at the end, when Ellie goes to find her, and she's just okay. Well, actually, before that, when when I had to beat up Ellie, I hated that. Like, you want me to beat up Ellie? No, go away, please. No, I'm not gonna do it. And like, I let Ellie kill me so many times. I literally probably let Ellie kill me for about 30 minutes. And every time she did it, I said, "You deserve that." But then, you know, it came to the point where I realized it's like, I cannot proceed this game any further forward without letting Abby win, which I hated. And I get she's military trained and all that good stuff, but it's like, you know, like Ellie wasn't trained. You know, she was trained by Joel, all, you know, whoever trained her in the town. Obviously, she, you know, they were former Fireflies, you know, and so it just, I hated that part, man. And then for her to just walk off and be like, "Don't follow me. I don't want to see your face again. With my big old buff arms. Baby the bear." Oh, man. I just wanted her to like trip and fall on a spike or something, man. So anyways, so then, you know, after that, and then it goes to like the whole homestead thing, and Ellie's there with Dina, and they've got the baby. Man, I was like, man, if this is how the game ends, I don't know if I would like this. She let the girl that killed Joel just get away with it. And I was like, man, I don't know if I want to finish this game. And it wasn't that I hated the game and I didn't want to complete it. I just didn't want to see it end there. If it had, I don't know if I would recommend it to people, because it was just like, not even a cliffhanger. It's just like, I don't want to say a bad ending, but it would have been a very anticlimactic would be the word I would use for it. And so, you know, then seeing Ellie getting like the PTSD and just having flashbacks, and she can't sleep, and just, you know, just her telling Dina that, you know, she needed to finish it. I don't know, there was a point where I kind of sided with Dina. I was like, you've gotten everything you wanted. Like, that's what Ellie wanted. You know what I mean? Not what the farmhouse was Dina's thing, but, you know, Ellie wanted that with her. But it just felt like Ellie was almost disconnected, or disassociative in a way. And, you know, and then when Tommy goes and he's like poking at her, and he's like, "You said you were gonna finish this," and, you know, he you know, he gets pissed off, rightfully so. I mean, not pissed off at Ellie, but rightfully so. He's still pissed off that the girl who shot him in the face and killed his brother is still out there. And to him, he didn't get his, you know, she didn't get her comeuppance. And so I was okay with Ellie's choice to complete it, but at that point I kind of felt so drained of energy that I was like, man, I just hope she just does it and just gets it over with, because at that point I didn't care anything about Abby. I didn't care anything about, is it Lev? You know, I was just like, let's just get it over with and let's see how this ends. And so then, you know, Abby gets captured and Lev gets captured by those weird serpent biker gang dudes. And so, you know, Ellie tries to track him down. And then, you know, the whole thing when she finds her, she's like, looks half dead, dehydrated as hell, half the size she was when she fought Ellie last time. She looks scared. Honestly, at that point, in my head, I was like, she's not even worth it. If she survives, she's nowhere near the way she was before. And so I was kind of like, I didn't even want to kill Abby at that point. I was like, man, just kick her down the road and just like be done with it, man. Just go home. Realize, you know, you shouldn't have been there in the first place. But Ellie, you know, she's frustrated. She's angry. You know, rightfully so. She, you know, she saw Joel killed in front of her by this angry person. And I think during her fight with her, she came to realize that she was no better than Abby. I don't want to say no, she was no better than Abby because Abby killed Joel. But I think she came to realize that she was going down that path that Abby did, and that at the end of the day, even if she had killed Abby, she would not have been complete. She would not be whole. She would not get Joel back. And I think that's, you know, one of the themes in this game was that no matter what you do, if you lose something, anger and vengeance don't bring it back to you. You're not going to fill that hole that you have. And I think for Ellie, JJ and her girl were, you know, they were what was filling that hole. And I think she realized that when she almost killed Abby and lost 2 fingers, which was traumatizing to me. You know, she just told Abby to go. Just go. I don't want to see you anymore. Just go. Get out of my face. She just sat there and cried, you know, after she had that flashback of Joel. And then, you know, in the flashbacks too, just realizing that I think the thing that upset her the most about Joel's death is that, you know, she had blown up at Joel in response to finding out that she could have cured the world, that her life would have meant something, but she lost that chance to make that choice. Granted, she was a kid, so, you know, that's why hospitals have adults and parents sign our paperwork for us when we're kids, you know. Because we're kids, we can't make those kind of decisions. But, you know, in her head, for him to take that choice away from her took her power away. And I get that. I know some people got upset when she was getting mad at Joel. But I think at that time, to her, it was, 1, she found it out on her own. He never told her. And 2, it felt like he, you know, well, 1, he did lie to her the whole time. And I think she knew it. I think she was not only mad at Joel, I think she was mad at herself. Because I think she knew, even as a kid, at the end of that first game, when she's sitting in that truck lying down and she asked Joel what happened, she knew that he lied. You know, I think she knew at the end of the game, the first game, that he wasn't telling her the whole truth, at least, if anything. If not that maybe he didn't, you know, that he lied to her, but that he at least was not telling her the whole truth. And I think that's what hurt her more, is that she knew he didn't, and she chose not to care at that time. And so, you know, I think once she came to realize that, while she was beating up Abby, I think she just decided that she was done being angry. You know, I'm sure, you know, if they ever continue this in Last of Us 3 or something, and they continue with Ellie or anybody, if they address Ellie, I think they'll show that she maybe still has some anger and resentment, but I think she was more upset that she never got that closure with Joel after she kind of went back to him after that fight at the dance where he tried to stand up for her, and she, you know, she just didn't want it because she hadn't forgiven him yet fully. And so she went up to him at at his place and was talking to him, and I think she was trying to mend the hole that they had in that relationship, and just for her, that fix that she wanted in their relationship never got complete, and Abby took that away. And so, I think that's part of why Ellie was so angry and so vengeful, and just kind of just wanted to kill Abby. And so then Ellie goes back to the farmhouse, sees that they weren't bluffing, that everything in the house was gone except for her stuff, which all fit in a room. And she realized that she was more than the things she had, that she had, gained. She was, part of her was those relationships she built outside of Joel and everybody. And so, she obviously leaves that stuff there and puts her backpack on. And to me, when I see her doing that, I'm thinking she's going to go back and she's going to try and get her family back, That doesn't require killing people. So, unless somebody gets in her way or something. And then to me, that's how it ends, on a kind of hopeful note, but somber at the same time. And then after the game ends, when you get the new startup screen, the rowboat is no longer in the water, it's on the shore. And so I didn't think anything of it until I was listening to the Kind of Funny Games guys talk about it. And they brought up the fact that, well, one, I did notice that the boat was, the one from the end of the game when, Ellie's telling Abby to get out of there and lives in the boat. And it was one of those rowboats. And so, with it being on the land, it makes you wonder, did Abby and Lev make it to the Fireflies? And then it brings up a whole nother thing. Like, was she okay with Ellie at that point? Or was she going to be like, hey, Fireflies, I found the girl that has the cure. She's over here if y'all want to go get her. Or was she at the point where she was just like done with her revenge, and she was just like, I'm here to help, make me useful again, But yeah, so to me, overall, I did love the game. Like I said, it was very heavy. I think the critic scores are pretty spot on. It's not a perfect game, but I think the mechanics, level design, sound design, story, I think they were all pretty spot on. I wouldn't say it's like a 10 out of 10. Me personally, I don't want to give scores to games, but if I had to, I'd probably say maybe like an 8.5 or 9 out of 10. To me, it's not as good as the first one. As far as story goes, it blows the first one out of the water with mechanics, and especially like the dodging and the crafting and the way that you can upgrade your weapons in this one. But one thing that I came to think of when I see a lot of these bad reviews of the game, I I think of something that John Campea said when talking about movies, because this game is definitely movie-like in its structure and everything like that. That characters are not there, or I'm sorry, the story is not there to serve the characters. The characters are there to serve the story. And so to me, that almost exactly epitomizes this game. That even though like everybody loved Joel, or at least cared for him enough from the first game to be upset at his death in this game, but to realize that it was to tell the greater narrative, and that he played his part in this story. You know, his part was to do from A to B, and then get Ellie from B to, you know, the end. You know, and so he completed his journey in this game. You know, should people be happy the way it ended, or the way it ended for Joel? You know, that's up to each person. Me, I think, while I didn't like it, I saw it as a necessary evil for the rest of the story. And another saying that I heard somebody say today, actually, that made me think of this game and the way that some people are negatively reviewing it. You know, some people don't like the way that the story was written, and they call it bad story writing. Oh, they just you know, it's bad story writing, the bad storytelling. They threw away all the characters that we loved from the first one, so it's bad. But you know, somebody said it best when they said that just because it's not what you like doesn't make it bad storytelling. The story was great. It just didn't go the way you wanted it to. And so that's what I think a lot of people that are negatively reviewing the game, I think that's how they feel. Because they can't knock the game for game mechanics. They can't knock it for sound or level design. It's the story. And so some people just don't like the way the story ended, or the way it went, you know, the way they told the story. And like I said, for me, the Abby part took me out of the game. You know, it got to the point where I just did not want to play as Abby. I was not, you know, I didn't want to pick up weapons. I didn't want to improve weapons. I didn't want to upgrade her stuff, because I was just like, why am I going to build this girl up? Because I know she's going to run into Ellie, and I'm going to be all bite ass and be trying to take out Ellie. You know, I could see why some people, if they played the game from beginning to end and it just didn't work for them, I can totally okay with that. You know, I don't like how people are just review bombing the game because of leaks, or because, oh, SJW this, or, you know, and then you do have some people complaining about, oh, well, they're deleting people's reviews that are negative about the game. It's like, yeah, but there's people that were dropping reviews that are not like, there are people that are like me, who got the game or who would have gotten the game when it came out, for everybody, and were dropping reviews that didn't have access, you know, to early access codes, or didn't have early access to the game. And so how could they have beaten the game and reviewed it when it didn't, you know, it doesn't add up. And so if Metacritic is deleting poor reviews that are just review bombs, they have their right to do that. That's just like Rotten Tomatoes, you know. You know, people always say don't go by the user reviews, because those are not reliable. You can never tell if somebody's bought, you know, a ticket. But at least with the critic reviews, you know that a majority of them either got the game through Sony or Naughty Dog, or they got it somehow and are reviewing it. And, you know, some people are like, oh, well, you know, they got the game from Sony, so obviously they're going to give a good review. And, you know, there might be some people like that, but I feel like it's like a majority of the people are giving their honest reviews. You know, I mean, it's not getting 10 out of 10s from everybody. It's getting a lot of 10 out of 10s, and, you know, a lot of 5 out of 5s and stuff like that, but it's not a perfect game. But like I said, for me, it's definitely up there. It's a very good game. I think it's probably the second best PlayStation 4 game that came out this year so far. I've not had a chance to play Ghost of Tsushima. That comes out this month. But for me, I like I said, man, it just, that one section I just did not like. So angry. But other than that, I love the game. And so, you know, kudos to Naughty Dog. They last reported 3 days sold 4 million copies. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. As the fastest selling PlayStation 4 exclusive title to date, the fastest at least. But you know, we'll see as time goes on what other records it breaks. And I'm sure, you know, the people are going to stop talking about it once Ghost of Tsushima comes out. The stuff will get quiet again. And then when Game of the Year comes around and it's up there, and I have a feeling it's going to win. And when it does, oh man, are the Angry Joes of the world going to be so angry about it? And I only say Angry Joe because, man, I like that guy, and he, you know, for the most part, I'm pretty agree with him on certain games and stuff, but he just, man, some games he just, he's got opinions, and he's entitled to them. But I'm already expecting a bad review from him on Last of Us. He's probably going to give it a 5 or a 6, which I think is drastically low, but that is his opinion. And that's what we're all entitled to, man. We're all entitled to our opinions. And so that's going to be it for me. Leave comments down below. Let me know what you guys thought about the game. Did you like it? Did you hate it? You know, did you even play it? If you didn't, and you're like, hey man, I saw the spoilers and I was like, fuck this game. Sorry, F this game. And you're like, nah man, that ain't my shit. I ain't gonna play it. Then, you know, by all means, man, hey, you got every right. But, you know, if you did, let me know what you guys thought down below. Click that like button. Hit the subscribe if you haven't. Click the notification bell so that way you guys can be notified when new videos come up. I know it's been a little while since the last video came up, but I'm going to try to be more regular now with all the COVID. Spend more time at home. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one. I'm out.